My name is Austin Thorpe. Welcome to this channel's new series on choir rehearsals, where we will also examine the rehearsal's relationship to the conductor's score. This series features Essere, a new women's choir. This video highlights a small, edited portion of our second rehearsal as an ensemble, featuring Susan LaBarr's arrangement of Rise My Soul. So here we have in Rise My Soul, pages 4 and 5. And what I wanted to accomplish in the rehearsal was the choir understanding the shapes of the phrase in each of these sections, the rise and falls of the phrase, with the underpinning accompanimental parts from the lower three voices. And notice any words that I think need a special emphasis or care as they're being pronounced. So here, rivers to the, just to help the singers remember that they're going to say the. Ocean, ocean. I don't want ocean or ocean. Ocean. That'll help shape this word without having to get so soft in the last syllable. The schwa will naturally diminish the last syllable. And then here, this diagonal line is for a glottal. Nor stay in all their voicing the th, course. And then at the top of page 5, far ascend. And I want like the word of, ascend. Seeks the sun, both speed them to their source. And it's difficult enough with the singers in masks having the words sound clearly. And so that is something that we're going to continue to have to work on and even struggle with. And then also notice that on these melodic lines, I've added another voice from the second soprano part. And then when she was to go back down to the second soprano part. In the ensemble of 16, we only have 3 first sopranos, so I wanted a 4th for these melodic sections. And then also here, in the soprano part, that's born, another glottal of God. I want that to come out very clearly. Longs to view his glorious face. And all of these are international phonetic alphabet symbols. That's what I exclusively use when marking the text in my score. And then also notice as we listen to some of these sections that we'll be rehearsing, we have these orange accents. Orange just happens to be the color that I chose. Rise, 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 rise my soul. And then that poco marcato will continue throughout all of these sections. And then here at the bottom of page 5, so that longs. And making sure that is clearly emphasized. You'll see us working on that as well. Here's another little piece of detail. This messo di voce, using a red for the crescendo and the blue for the diminuendo. So, a soul that's born longs. And making sure that that shape of the phrase really comes out. And then here at the end, because of this text, longs to view his glorious face. And in the diminuendo, it's not written in, but I thought it appropriate to add a poco ritardando because of the text, longing to view his glorious face, as if everything that preceded it was taking us to that moment. So we have a gl, we have a f of face, and the diminuendo into the rest going into the next page. And then starting at measure 17, we start at piano, and then we build, this whole section builds, rises and falls, and builds to this mezzo forte that you'll see in one of the clips that's coming. And then see this mezzo forte, and this whole section will build to this mezzo forte, so a soul that's born of God before we get to his glorious face. And these are all of the little decisions that inform what's happening in the rehearsal. One of the tricky things about this piece is maintaining a consistent tempo, and that while going back and forth between a tempo, rubato, ritardando, that we maintain a consistent tempo, and that's something we'll also be working on in this rehearsal. This is the recommended tempo from the arranger, and then I thought that 55 would also be appropriate to keep it moving, and a lot of times we ended up settling in the rehearsal at 50, 51, 52, all the way up to 55-6. So you also want to consider what will work best for your ensemble to sing this legato while bringing out important words, important melodic, harmonic, and textual moments. And also notice the different text indications, like here on this word, instead of transitory, I looked up the word and listened to the word transitory, so I chose to put an S, and I put the S there so the ensemble knew, make sure it's an S and not a Z, because they did have my markings prior to the rehearsal so they could put them in their scores. Sun and moon and stars decay. If I want a decay, that would be a lowercase I for the E vowel, but I wanted an I, so decay, to make sure the second syllable receives the stress. You'll also notice from pages 4 and 5 and on page 3 here that I've indicated all of the specific breath marks through these quarter rests that I want the ensemble to take. So you have to feel this born of God, longs to, well, the alto, I guess, longs to yours, young section, I am interested in creating a strong consonant for forward. Forward tends to his abode to rest in his embrace. And notice here I have an e and an I vowel. I would like a mixture of these two versus just embrace and embrace, but embrace, warming up that first syllable of embrace, because the stressed syllable is brace, and I want to make sure we take care of that carefully. And then at the bottom of the page, here in the second soprano, alto 1 and alto 2 parts, I indicate a no breath mark with this line, plus the Z attaching it to the following word. Rise, rise, to make sure that is voiced carefully and audibly. And then at the bottom of the page, I use this lighter color blue for the piano marking. And originally in my score, I had put a rest after this first rise. And then when we first rehearsed it, I decided that it should not have a break, but that it needs to continue the energy and intensity of this crescendo over this 3-bar phrase. So I erased this breath mark, wrote in a no breath mark, in addition to already having this crescendo mark, starting here on the first rise and building gradually. I instructed the ensemble that at no point should they get softer, but that every moment of each rise, it should get louder by 1-2%. It should continue, and then molto here until a brief rest before getting into fly me riches, fly me cares. And notice here I put many IPA symbol indications so the ensemble can continue to bring out this text. Thank you for watching us explore the beautiful choral art. If you are interested in seeing more, please tap or click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Until next time.